Some television characters stay with us because they're charming, others because they're funny, inspiring, or tragic. But Dexter Morgan is different. He lingers in the mind like a shadow, unsettling, magnetic, impossible to forget. He is the rare protagonist who forces us to question morality, identity, and the complicated lines between justice and desire. But beneath the bloodslides, the rituals, and the monstrous brilliance lies a deeper question. Could someone like Dexter Morgan ever truly find happiness? Or is a life built on secrets and darkness destined to collapse under its own weight? Today, we're going beyond the murders, the mythology, and the iconic performances. We're deconstructing Dexter and exploring whether a man shaped by trauma, guided by a code, and haunted by his own nature is even capable of experiencing joy, the birth of a broken self. To understand Dexter's pursuit of happiness, we have to understand the origin of his damage. Dexter doesn't just appear fully formed as a killer. His psyche is assembled from pain, violence, and trauma, absorbed long before he had language. He witnesses the brutal murder of his mother, trapped in a pool of blood for days. That moment becomes the blueprint for his mind. It rewires him. It fractures him. It plants a seed that grows into what he later calls his dark passenger. Most people's identities are built on memories, family, experiences, and choices. Dexter's is built on an absence, the absence of normal emotional development. He grows up unable to feel what others feel. He watches people react with empathy, with fear, with love, and learns to imitate those reactions like a second language. From that foundation, the question of happiness becomes more complicated. Can you achieve happiness if the emotional architecture required for it is missing? Can you feel joy if you've learned to mimic it instead of experiencing it? Dexter begins his story already fractured, believing happiness is something he can observe, not something he can inhabit. The code, a crutch, or a cage. Harry Morgan, Dexter's adoptive father, gives him structure. The code. Only kill those who are guilty. Only kill those who harm innocent lives. Only kill those who escape justice. At first, the code seems like salvation. It becomes Dexter's purpose, his moral anchor, the thing that lets him exist in the world without destroying it. It creates the illusion of control. But the more we watch Dexter live by it, the clearer the truth becomes. The code is also a prison. Instead of healing Dexter, it boxes him in. It tells him he is unlovable, dangerous, broken, someone who must hide who he is at all costs. Harry doesn't just give Dexter rules. He gives him shame. He gives him a script for self-hatred. So, can a man find happiness while living inside a cage built to contain his own nature? Or is the code the very thing preventing Dexter from evolving into something more human? The show constantly wrestles with this contradiction. Dexter sees the code as protection, yet it isolates him. It keeps him alive, yet it prevents him from living. Love as an experiment. Dexter's relationships are some of the most fascinating parts of the series, not because they are tidy or romantic, but because they reveal the slow evolution of a man learning what it means to feel. With Rita, he begins with imitation. He mimics what a boyfriend should be because it gives him cover. Rita becomes a shield, a quiet place where suspicion cannot follow him. But something unexpected happens. Dexter finds comfort there, peace, even hints of affection. Rita's gentle nature provides what his childhood never did, safety without conditions. Yet happiness still feels distant, because Dexter can't be fully honest. Not with her, not even with himself. His later relationships follow the same pattern. Hannah, Lumen, even his connection with Deborah. Each one challenges him emotionally, forcing him to confront the possibility that he isn't as numb as he believes. Dexter's journey becomes a test. If you were raised to believe you're incapable of emotion, does that become self-fulfilling? Or can love eventually override the wiring of early trauma? The beauty of the series lies in how unsure the answer remains. Dexter and fatherhood, a glimpse of what could have been. One of the most profound turning points in Dexter's story is fatherhood, not because it makes him a better man overnight, but because it forces him to rethink what legacy means. When he holds Harrison for the first time, something cracks open inside him. Not love as most people know it, but something adjacent. Responsibility, protectiveness, a kind of fierce loyalty rooted not in morality, but in instinct. For a moment, we see what Dexter could be if he weren't constantly wrestling with his own nature. A father trying to build a life where his son doesn't inherit his darkness. A man who wants to break the cycle of trauma that shaped him. But this is where the tragedy deepens. Happiness requires stability, honesty, and vulnerability. 3 things Dexter's double life cannot support. The more he tries to build a normal world for Harrison, the more his shadows threaten to consume it. Dexter's doomed attempts at fatherhood reveal a heartbreaking truth. He can glimpse happiness, but he can't hold on to it, because secrets rot everything they touch. Deborah Morgan, the human anchor and the emotional battlefield. Deborah is the closest thing Dexter has to a moral compass. She is the human version of what Harry's code could never give him: warmth, chaos, empathy, and love. Their relationship is messy, raw, and painfully human. Deborah forces Dexter to confront emotions he has spent his life avoiding. She believes in him even when he doesn't believe in himself. But Deborah also represents the impossibility of Dexter's happiness, because the more she knows about him, the more she breaks. Her love for him becomes a source of agony. Her loyalty becomes her downfall. And Dexter, for the first time, feels the weight of the pain he causes others simply by existing. Deborah's tragedy is Dexter's mirror. It shows him, and us, that flawed heroes cannot outrun the consequences of their nature. The illusion of happiness. Throughout the series, Dexter tastes pieces of happiness. Family moments, quiet mornings, moments of connection, laughter, even genuine warmth. But each moment is shadowed by the life he hides. The truth is simple. You cannot build happiness on top of a secret life that demands violence, lies, and emotional isolation. The moments Dexter feels closest to happiness are the moments he is furthest from his true self. He plays the role of father, partner, brother, and colleague. But those roles require him to suppress the part of himself he believes defines him. For Dexter, happiness becomes an illusion he can see but never touch. Because happiness without honesty is not happiness, it's performance. The question at the heart of Dexter's story: can a monster be redeemed? Dexter forces us to confront a question most stories avoid. Can someone who does terrible things still deserve happiness? And even if they do, can they ever truly find it? Dexter isn't a traditional hero. He's not redeemable in a moral sense, but he is human in his longing. He seeks connection, belonging, a life without fear, a life where he doesn't have to hide. But redemption requires accountability. It requires a person to step out of the shadows and face the world honestly. Dexter's entire existence is built on avoiding that moment. That's the contradiction that makes his story so compelling. Dexter wants the rewards of humanity without the responsibility of it. And the show never pretends the two can coexist. Dexter Morgan is one of television's most haunting creations because he embodies the tension between darkness and desire. He shows us a man shaped by trauma who longs for connection, a killer who wants to be a father, a destroyer who dreams of love, a flawed hero chasing a happiness he cannot hold. But in the end, Dexter's tragedy is not that he is a monster, it's that he is human enough to want what humanity offers, yet broken enough to destroy it every time it gets close. If you enjoyed this deep psychological breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for more story explorations, character dissections, and cinematic deep dives.